Hi, let's talk about university. Actually, about different graduate programs. I'm currently working. I'm actually working since 2.5, 3 years in consulting in a small, medium large consulting company in Switzerland, focusing on the financial sector, where I'm mainly responsible for transformation project at different clients. And it's 3 years that I'm actually doing that, and I liked it a lot. I actually started right after my studies. I did a bachelor degree in business administration at the University of Gallen in Switzerland, actually one of the most renowned universities for business in Europe, actually in all of Europe. The university is actually quite famous here in Europe. It was ranked #1 by the Financial Times because of its masters in strategic international management, one of the most renowned masters in management in actually the whole world. And I only did actually my bachelor's degree, and then I wanted to start working afterwards, which I still think was the right choice. But now a time is coming where I wanna progress in my career. I like where I work, but the learning curve is kind of not that steep anymore. So I really want to kind of do that jump and do something new in my life. And an easy way would be, I could apply for other jobs, which I'm probably also considering, but an easy way would also be to take a break once more, to take a break and to go study, so to do some graduate degree. That would also allow me to kind of distance myself from the whole work thing, because just realizing that if you work, you don't have a lot of time for yourself anymore. You don't have a lot of time to reflect. You don't have a lot of time to kind of plan your life. I just realized when I was a student, I was full of energy, I was full of ideas, I was full of ambition. I wanted to achieve things. I was thinking big. I really wanted to kind of change the world, and I was convinced that I actually had the power to change the world and to influence the world and to have a lot of responsibility and meaning in what I would do as work. But as soon as you kind of start working and you kind of fall into that life, to that routine, you just get up, you work for a client, which we do, and sometimes long hours, and then you finish in the evenings, you're tired, you just want to relax, and you don't want to work on your personal self and work on personal growth. But in the meantime, I am at a point where I think that probably some further studies would help me to progress in my career, progress personally, just to learn again, to connect, to network, to make friends, but also just to kind of have a break and to kind of have some time for myself. I was thinking a lot about where and what I would study, and I think there are kind of two ways. Either I'd study, besides working, maybe kind of an online master's degree or something. Frankfurt School apparently has a good one. But then it would just be kind of a pro forma exercise. It would just be to have my master's, just to say that I have it. And as I told you before, I think for me, studying again would also be kind of a break in the personal development phase. So I would want to do it in person. But if I do it in person, I actually want to do it at a good place. I want to, if I already take a break of almost 2 years and stop working, stop earning money, and kind of have to save again, I would want it to kind of be worth it. So I was looking about a lot of universities, and actually during my bachelor's degree in St. Gallen, I did an exchange at Columbia University in the city of New York, an Ivy League. It was awesome. I learned a lot. I loved the city, I loved the university, I loved just how everything flowed. But that's a topic for itself, and I will for sure talk about Colombia more, and I will also talk more about just how life in New York is. That's why I was strongly considering just going back to New York, going back to Colombia. And I looked at different universities. I looked at an MBA program, I looked at other programs. And the thing is, if you want to go to the US to study, it's just always about MBAs. So in the US, you honestly, and especially if you want to go to New York also, the two good universities is, well, Columbia. Columbia is obviously the best. It's, I think, ranked even #1 internationally for business. And then there is NYU, which is also NYU Stern, which is also a very good university. Ranked quite highly, not as high as Columbia, but still high. The thing is, it's quite difficult to get, I think, into these places, and I don't know if they would even take me. But nevertheless, even if they would, just hypothetically, it would cost around $170,000 tuition. And with living and insurance and everything you would need to have, it would actually almost be $250,000 to study in the US, to do an MBA there. I think it would certainly boost my career. Maybe it would even pay out itself. I mean, just by a job that I could get afterwards, and the salary that they would pay me. But still, it's a lot of money, and it's also a big commitment that you would need to take. And the other thing that I looked, it's not just universities in the US where you often have to do an MBA, because graduate degrees in business are not really a thing. And then there are kind of the different degrees in Europe. For example, at HEC Paris or at Bocconi, they have very good degrees, or the London Business School. And Business School actually has an MBA, but they also do have a master's in management. But what I actually found out, especially in France and in England, is that for the master's degree, they don't want you to have more than max 2 years of work experience, which I am already kind of approaching. I'm already going towards my 3 years of work experience. So I'm kind of in between two chairs, because for the MBAs, usually people have around 5.5 years of work experience, and it's quite tough to get into a good MBA program, because you have to do the GMATs, etc., and a lot of recommendation letters and so on. And the master's degree, on the other hand, are rather designed for people who do it directly after the bachelor's degree and don't have that much work experience. As I said, often it's, especially at the foreign universities, it's often written that you should have a maximum of 2 years of work experience. So actually I was just kind of coming back to my hometown, or to my home country, to Switzerland, and just focusing and looking again at the University of St. Gallen, where the SIM would still be a very attractive option for me. The Strategic International Management Master is also tough to get into. You need to do the GMAT, etc. But there are also normal management masters in Switzerland, and I think the big advantage, especially for me, but also honestly for other foreign tourists, is just how affordable Switzerland is for studying. Tuition is just around $4,500 for the whole 3 semesters, for the whole year and a half. It's just not comparable to the $250,000 you would need to pay to get into a US university. Especially considering that the Master in Strategic International Management at the University of St. Gallen is ranked, well, this year it fell down, but it's still ranked top 2 of worldwide master programs by the Financial Times. And coming back and kind of closing that whole loop, I'm actually now in the end even considering doing a normal master's at the University of St. Gallen. As a Swiss citizen and with a bachelor's degree in Switzerland, I can more or less just enroll in it. I don't need to apply, I don't need to worry about a lot of preparation and tests. And I could combine it with with a SEMS master, with a double degree in international management, which would give me the exposure to another country, which would probably also give me the opportunity to go back to the US, or even do an exchange semester again at Columbia, which I thought was very, very, it was very self-fulfilling. It made me grow a lot, on a personal level especially. And I just love the city of New York, to be honest with you. But still, you pay a lot as an exchange student going to a foreign university, especially if you go as a free mover, so kind of to organize it by yourself. And you just go there, you pay, you get the experience and everything, but you don't get the diploma from there. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's not that easy to decide. Yes, and that's kind of where I'm stuck at. I don't know what to do, but in general, I'm a very ambitious person, but all these factors from currently working, needing to do a lot of preparation to get into these places, having to pay a huge amount of money to go there and to study there, and then on the other hand, just kind of having a very good and cheap school at my doorsteps, the University of St. Gallen, which is very cheap, very, very cheap actually, and is also renowned, especially if I want to stay in Switzerland, if I want to stay in Zurich, if I want to do my career here. So the decision is very difficult, and I'm wondering where it will take me. That's the place I'm currently at and what I am thinking about. I'm wondering what you think and what you would do and which path you chose or would choose or will choose in the future. Let's have this conversation and let's think about it.